Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Strelo, and this is going to be a completely raw, unedited video about my testimony and my journey that led me to the Lord. So I'm just going to get right to it. So I'm 42 years old, and I have been clean and sober since January 1st, 2019. And I'm just going to go back to the beginning and just give you a little synopsis of where I came from, so you have a better understanding of who I am, who I was then, and who Jesus, the Word of God, has set me free. So back January of 2019, before then, for about 5 years, I was living with really severe drug addiction. I was an IV user, so I was using methamphetamine, I was using heroin to cope with just lies that the enemy had been telling me my whole life, lies that I believed. And I had torment, every day of my life. So using drugs in the beginning gave me a little bit of relief. And, when I began starting using drugs, it was, fun, exciting, thinking, oh, this is so much fun. I love how this makes me feel. But there is a cost. Anytime that you allow sin to enter into your life, and anytime that you allow and partake in sinful things, there's going to be a cost. So I don't want to give the devil too much glory, and I'm not going to glorify my life that I had before I came to the Lord. But just in a nutshell, I was homeless. I did lose everything. My apartment, my car, all of my money, my job, all my friends, all my family. And like I said, I was IV user, so intravenous use of methamphetamine and heroin. And I was living on the streets right before I got clean and sober. So 2019, January 1st. So let's back up to December of 2018. Running with all the wrong people, street people, people that live in tents, people that live in hotels. I did not have a home. Like I said, I lost everything. So I lost everything probably 2 years before 2018. So about 2 years I was living on the streets, going hotel to motel, to people's houses, to just wherever and whoever would take me in, essentially, to support my habit. And I was living like that, and that got really old, the desperation of staying well. Every morning you wake up and you're sick, and you have to you have to hustle and be resourceful in order to get money to survive and be well. Because, narcotics, when you take them for a length amount of time, when you decide to stop, your body goes into withdrawal. So that was like my everyday routine. And when you're hanging out with people that are also doing that routine, the number one thing is yourself, to take care of yourself, not to help anyone else around. Your number one priority is yourself. So you become very selfish, you become very jaded, and you do whatever you have to do to survive. So that is who I was before coming to the Lord. But January 1st, 2019, I did not right away come to the Lord. So living on the streets, being homeless, and using and abusing people, and also people using and abusing me, I got literally sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I checked into a detox facility in Portland, Oregon. It's called Hooper Detox, and I was so desperate to not live the way that I was living before. So I just checked in and I did literally whatever they told me to do. This is just my own self-will at this moment. This is not the strength of Jesus or the power of Jesus. This is just Nicole and my will that I do not want to live like this anymore. Please tell me what to do and I will do it. So that journey began, and when I was in Hooper Detox, they gave me a medication called Suboxone, and they told me that Suboxone was probably something I would have to be on for the rest of my life, because if you don't take Suboxone and you've been a heroin addict, you will relapse. And if you don't, the percentage rate of people actually not relapsing is like very, very low. So like you might as well just stay on this drug. This is what the doctors told me. So I believe that. And I was, like I said, I was going to do anything that anybody told me to not go back to doing what I was doing and where I was before. So I was that desperate. And so I was, in this detox facility, detoxing from the hard drugs, but really just getting on another crutch, which is that Suboxone. So I was on the Suboxone, and after the detox, being at the detox facility for 2 weeks, I got accepted to go into a clean and sober treatment center that was, I think, 2.5 months with just all women, and doing that whole scene, and what they really instill is that you will need to do 12-step program. So I don't know if anyone watching is familiar. I'm sure you guys are familiar with 12-step program, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever the anonymous is at the end. For me, that was the beginning of my journey, and I'm not gonna say anything negative towards that organization, and because it was the beginning of my journey that led me to where I am today. It helped me in the time that I needed help with the support that I was so longing and yearning for. So, but the thing with Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous is this 12-step program. You are never set free. So you are still in bondage. You are still believing the lie that you are an addict and you will be an addict for the rest of your life. So, but in the beginning, I was willing to do anything. So I 100% got on board with the Narcotics Anonymous, taking Suboxone and getting a sponsor. And I began to work on these 12-step programs, step 1, step 2, step 3. I got to step 4, and it's difficult, right? So all of these things in your life from the past of why you were using, what trauma you went through before, all of these things come to the surface now that you're clean and sober, right? You have nothing suppressing these feelings. So all of these emotions, all of these feelings, these trauma things, they come to the surface, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And Narcotics Anonymous, they teach you that you rely on your sponsor, your support group, and you work through all of these things, right? So, which is good, which is all really good, right? Because when there's things that we've dealt with in our past and we don't know necessarily what to do with this, it's good to have support, someone that you can talk to. However, it's not the only way. This is just my way. This is just my journey that I did. Because like I said, I was desperate and would do anything to not go back to what I was doing. So, with Jesus, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but with Jesus, all of those things you can be set free from. So no bondage of, sticking to a program. Jesus is the source, but I will get to that. So just continuing on. So getting to step 4, with my sponsor, I have at this point been clean for a little over 1.5 years, living in a clean and sober house with 15 other women, going all the time to support groups, to Narcotics Anonymous meetings, to women's groups, you know, going to coffee, going to lunch with some friends that were in that community of, you know, the Narcotics Anonymous support group. And I just fully invested myself, immersed myself into this. And I did see that it was working because I was clean and sober for 2 years. 2 years of doing this whole program. However, in this 2 years, 2 or 2.5 years of this Narcotics Anonymous program, having the, you know, amazing support, amazing women that were there to help me, you know, that, you know, were able to be there for me, talk to me, lift me up, all of these things. So I was doing all of the things necessary through Narcotics Anonymous to be, successful in not relapsing. Their main thing is you don't want to relapse. And these are the things that you can do to not relapse, you know, A, B, C, D, and E. The list goes on. So I did these things. However, in this time period, I never felt freedom. I mean, absolute freedom. There was still torment. There was still guilt, condemnation, like resentment, hurt, all of these things that I, like these emotions, constant emotions of just guilt, shame, condemnation, mostly because of the shame from all of the things that I did previously. And I just wanted to just like break free from all that, but I never found any relief. You know, working with a sponsor and going through that, you know, that 12-step program, you know, you feel a little bit better after telling another person what you did and like the worst things that you did and all of those things. You feel a little bit better, like, oh wow, I just told someone and they don't judge me and they're telling me I should forgive myself. So, right, maybe I should forgive myself and just move on. However, the devil does not let it go that easy. You may say to yourself, okay, you know what? I made a huge mistake. I'm so embarrassed by that. All this condemnation that I feel, like at that moment you say, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna move on from that. But no, if you don't know the truth, the word of God, the devil is gonna circle back around and bring that condemnation right back to you. And if you don't know how to deal with those thoughts or emotions, you can relapse. And that is why in my opinion, why I see a lot of people that go through Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous that are relapsing, right? When you think that you have come to a point, you know, a year sobriety, 2 years sobriety, 10 years sobriety, you've arrived at this point where you've done all this work on yourself, but you don't have Jesus yet. You're just doing all the things that you're supposed to do through this program. You have potential to relapse because you haven't been delivered from that spirit of addiction. And I will get into that, not today, but just kind of giving you an idea that at that point in my life, I did not know Jesus. I did not know the Word of God. I still had that spirit of addiction harboring itself in me. Like, even though I was not using drugs, I still had that spirit of addiction inside of me. I also had spirit of condemnation, spirit of guilt, all of these things. These things have to be, you have to be delivered from these things in order to continue on your life and be set free. And I did not know this. I did not know this. 2 years being clean and sober, I just was doing, like I said, I was just doing what I was told, so I didn't have to go back to where I was and what I was doing before. So just kind of fast forward a little bit, about 2 years or so, I am still clean and sober. I'm feeling, you know, a little bit more like a good member of society. I have a job, a full-time job. I'm actually going to it 40 hours a week, not calling in all the time. I have responsibility. I believe at that time, like I got my driver's license back and I was buying a car, you know, starting to do some things that was building my confidence up, right? Just because I just wrecked my life by using and just losing everything. So just, you know, just doing the living things of doing things for myself, building myself up, building my confidence back up. But I still did not feel freedom. I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing through what Narcotics Anonymous suggests to do, you know, what my sponsor is telling me to do, but I was not feeling any freedom. I did not feel peace. I would go home and lay down to go to sleep. And I mean, the torment was unreal. The torment is just like, you know, you are a piece of crap. You know, who are you to think that you're going anywhere? Yeah, you've been clean and sober for this long, but don't you forget who you are. Like, you did this, remember this, blah, blah, blah. So these lies, this torment can really, as you can see, make someone choose to go use drugs again, right? Because they don't know what to do with this torment. And it's like a recurring thing, and it's no fault to anyone that doesn't know, right? It's just, you know, doing all the things they want to, their will wants to do better. However, they just don't know how to be in a battle, you know, resisting the devil so the devil will flee. So you're doing all the things, such as, like myself, I was doing all of the things, but I was not experiencing any freedom. And in this point in my life, I just started to begin to look for spiritual things. You know, I would talk to women about Reiki, or about tarot cards, or about spiritual things, just something to give me some peace, something that will just, like, you know, give me a tranquility. You know, I was willing to meditate. There's nothing wrong with meditating. It's what you're meditating on. And I was meditating on, you know, like crystals and, like, you know, the sun and all this stuff, just doing, like I said, whatever I could to get some relief and not go back to the way I was living. So in this time period, I was literally searching. I was searching for something more than what I was experiencing in life. I was doing all of the right things, like what normal, you know, citizens do: get up, get ready, go to work, you know, eat lunch, eat dinner, drive home. I had no joy. Throughout my whole days, I had no joy. All it was just like, there has got to be more to life than this. And so in this time period, I was searching, you know, like going to see, you know, Reiki and tarot card readings and spiritual retreats and all this stuff, which does not align with the Word of God. That is not the way. So in this time period, like I said, I was searching, and I was at the time seeing this guy, right? So like, it was just something very casual, and he mentioned that he wanted to go work out, do like a personal trainer type of thing. And I was also, at this time in my life, I was probably 30-40 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I was not looking to go work out. I was definitely not I had no motivation at this time to go start embarking on a physical trainer, let alone pay for a physical trainer. And this guy said that he would pay for the first month if I would just go with him. And so I was like, okay, I will go. So I went, and when I went, in my mind, I made a commitment. I made a commitment because this trainer told me that I had to sign 6 month. He said I had to sign 6 month contract. That means I will come as scheduled and pay as scheduled for 6 months. Now this guy was gonna pay the first month, but I made a commitment. So at this time, like I said, 2 years clean and sober, I was doing all the things. So, you know, people are saying if you make a commitment, you need to start making commitments. And when you make the commitment, you stay to it, right? You don't backtrack and just say, oh, I can't do this, or you don't get lazy. You have discipline. So like at this time in my life, I was trying to exercise discipline. So I made this commitment that I would do this personal training with this guy. And so this guy and I would go 3 times a week. And the reason he was going was to not, quote unquote, drink. So he was like, if I go work out, I'm not gonna drink, I'm gonna be more healthy. And at this time I was already clean and sober. So I was trying to help this guy out, like thinking, oh, okay, we'll go together and you won't drink, right? So he lasted 24 days, almost a month. And actually I think it was a month, but he fell off, right? So he fell off, and when he fell off, like I said, I made the commitment. So I was going to stick it out. Now, little did I know that this environment was in a garage. This personal trainer that I, had been working with and training with was about to, start talking to me and getting to know me on a different level. Now that it's just me, this personal trainer, and this other gentleman, Pastor Vitali, who I will get to talking about, further as I go down. So keep in mind, at this time period in my life, I was searching. I was desperately searching for some freedom, for some relief, and for some peace. I just didn't know what direction to go. So, this guy was like, let's go work out. We worked out for about a month. He fell off, meaning he stopped coming. But I made that commitment, 6-month commitment, to keep going. So now it is just me, my personal trainer, and this pastor gentleman, where now we're just the 3 of us. We're working out, and they start talking to me about Pastor Vitali's church, and a place that they have called the Healing Room. It's every Wednesday at Dominion Life Church, and it's in a church setting, and they were just kind of telling me that addiction is actually a spirit, and like I could be delivered from it, and like I don't have to live as an addict anymore. Like what? Like they were telling me this. And I was like, say what? Like my whole life, especially the last 2 years, I have been told that, if you're an addict for the rest of your life, right? So these things that they were telling me, even though they sounded so far out there was something about what they were sharing with me that I was absorbing. I was absorbing, and I was listening, and I was asking questions. So Pastor Vitali, he said, maybe try coming on Wednesday to the Healing Room. And he was just kind of telling me how this Healing Room process works. And like I said, desperate in this time period in my life. So, excuse me. So it started, I actually went with the personal trainer, his wife and his kids to a Sunday service. To the church. I didn't go to the Healing Room first. I went to the church because I didn't want to go by myself. So I went with my personal trainer, his wife, and his kids. And it was a very small church. And I don't remember what the teaching was, but I do remember that they all at the very end were praying in tongues. And I had never seen that before in my life. And I was just kind of like, this is nuts. Like, what is going on here? And I didn't even know what praying in tongues was, let alone, did I ever hear it. So, this whole church is just like in corporate, just all praying in tongues, very powerful, but like very intimidating when you know nothing about it, right? So, I went there, and the next week, working out with these 2, they were like, what did you think? And I was like, I'm gonna come to the Healing Room. I'm gonna come on Wednesday and just kind of see what that's about. And and like behind the scenes, Nicole, I am like just like desperate for anything. So I will, I'm just like a sponge. Just show me another way, anything else of what I'm doing now. So, and they know this. Pastor Vitali knows this. My personal trainer, knows. So I start going to the healing room. And what the healing room is, essentially, it's once a week, and you go and you wait to be seen by Pastor Vitali, and he does some ministry work, such as like what's going on in your life. You talk about all the things that are going on in your life, essentially the lies that the devil is telling you in your head, and he just replaces those lies with the truth, which is the word of God. So I will get to that later. I'm just going to kind of keep this simple and just stay on track. That this first video here is just basically my testimony of what led me to the Lord. Okay, so doing a whole bunch of damage to my life, destroying my life, and my own self-will at that time in 2019 would do anything to not have to do and live the way that I was living. So for 2 years, like I did what I was told through Narcotics Anonymous, but I never had any, deliverance or any freedom. I never had any peace. It was all still, bondage, that I would have to do these 12 steps for the rest of my life, or I would relapse. So I was living my life for about 2.5 years like that, but started to seek something spiritual. And I'm just gonna read in Mathew 7:7. I'm just gonna read it, okay? And you just hear me, or you can look it up yourself, okay? So Mathew 7:7, it says, keep asking, seeking, and knocking. Okay, so I'm gonna just say this practically. So in my life at that point, I was seeking, I was knocking on any door really, trying to find deliverance, peace, and understanding of what direction and what path I'm supposed to go down, because I was not joyful. I did not have any peace, I did not have any joy. And no one likes to live like that. No one likes to live like that. I hated living like that. So Mathew 7:7, it says, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. Okay, so there's a lot in that. There's a lot of life in those words there. But the most important thing that I see this practically is I was knocking, I was searching for something more than what I was doing in my life. I was searching for peace, joy, a love that no one here on planet Earth is going to ever be able to fill. The only one that is that source, that 100% source, is Jesus. And in a spiritual realm, when Jesus knew I was knocking, I was seeking, it says, for everyone who asks, receives. So I was asking. I just didn't know who I was asking at that moment. Okay, so this is my testimony. This doesn't have to be the case for every situation, but this is my testimony. So, and then it says, and he who seeks finds. So I was seeking because of how miserable and how desperate I was. And I found, that situation I was telling you about my personal trainer and my soon-to-be pastor, Pastor Vitali, and at the healing room, which I will get into on another time. But if you have watched this far, God bless you. If you received anything from that, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate your time watching. I am going to do testimonies I'm not sure the schedule yet, but to be revealed, okay? So I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you receive something from that, and I'll see you next time, okay? Okay, bye-bye.